So, hello, folks. It's been a while since I came and spoke here, and um what I'm speaking today is based on a few observations and a few deductions I made, and largely based on few experiments that I've been doing, a lot of learnings that have happened over the last few months, and some specific pointers that came from friends and a couple of my mentors. And I thought I would summarize all of it into a presentation and essentially speak to all of you about it. My primary hypothesis is that for anyone to grow and prosper inside an organization, they require three specific roles. The role of a coach, they need a mentor, and they need a sponsor. Now, these are separate roles. The same person can probably play all the three roles, or there might be three different people who are like essentially playing these roles for you. But at all the times, you would need these three people to grow forward, right? Now, when we use terms such as coach and mentor, there are lots of definitions for it. But I have my own definitions, and I would probably want to clarify on what each of these roles are. Now, the coach is the first role, and according to me, he or she is the most important person in your life. This is the quick image that came in. This is Mohamed Salah. He is supposed to be one of the most prolific footballers right now, and he's great. But what makes him great is this other guy, who is Jurgen Klopp, who is a football coach, who coaches him. Now, why is he such a great person is summarized by what happens over here. Now, this is the football field. Mohamed Salah is playing in the field, and this guy is right there on the touchline, essentially yelling instructions, giving heads up, and essentially directing and like giving people a third-person perspective on what's happening inside the field. Now, this is exactly what I believe a coach does to you. The coach is essentially standing in a sideline. He is trying to make sense of things that is happening to you and trying to give perspectives on the field, on the fly. He's trying to give visibility into what's happening in the field, and because most of the times when we are at our jobs and we are like focused and working on something, we start developing a sort of a tunnel vision. We start seeing unidirectionally, and that's when your coach essentially comes and points you out to quick opportunities and quick threats and quick things that you need to be aware of that you'd have to tackle in the near future. Now, this coach guy is someone who will work with you and who would also grow along with you, and essentially your success is his success. That is the beauty of the coach. On the other hand, a mentor is someone who usually advises you. Mentors are people that we seek, and the mentors essentially try to understand us and try to give us directions on where we need to head and what would make sense for us. Now, we can survive in this world without a mentor, but if we have to maintain our performance at what we are doing right now and keep practicing at peak performance, then we would usually need a coach by us. Now, summarizing, the coach is essentially there. He's between coaching and mentorship. You have a coach, and coaching is usually coach driven. The coach is actually proactively working with you. He's like asking for you. He's like shouting out instructions about like threats, about opportunities. He's performance focused. He's worried about how you're working, and he's trying to get the best out of you. He's very tactical in nature, trying to sort out the things in the now, and he helps you sustain at your level that you are in. On the other hand, mentorship is completely voluntary. You might find a mentor, but if you're not putting that effort, that mentor is not going to be of any use to you. Mentee driven, as in you go seek out a mentor, you go seek out advices, You figure out how to use that advice in your real life and how to drive in based on the directions you get. And mentorship is usually development focused, as in it's not worried about telling you how to be the best version of yourself right now. It's going to tell you what you can become in the future and how to get there. Very strategic in nature, and it helps you on preparing for your next level. Finally, while these two people are very important, there is a third person out there who's often not visible to you, but who's also playing a very vital role in your career. And that is the role of a sponsor. The sponsor is the one who essentially acts on behalf of you. So he essentially finds new opportunities for you and figures out a way to get you into that new opportunity. He opens doors for you. He gets you a seat in a table where it is not possible for you to usually get into. And the sponsor is actually worried about, he's not worried, he is thinking about your growth and wants to give opportunities to you. In a very quick nutshell, a coach works with you, a mentor advises you, and a sponsor talks about and acts for you, right? So these are the three roles I believe are very important for a person's growth in an organization. Now, why did I actually speak about it? Because we need to do a couple of things. First, recognize and value your coach. So you will sometimes, it's very easy to misinterpret someone who's showing keen interest in your working as micromanagement. Recognize that, hey, this guy is actually wanting to work with you, wanting to help you get to your objective very quickly, and he's not necessarily trying to interfere in what you're doing. So figure out that there is a coach who's trying to help you, and figure out how is the best way you can utilize your coach into gaining peak performance for yourself. An addendum to it is realize that you also need to be a coach for a lot of people. That means that people, even irrespective of the greatness of their skill levels and their abilities, people need a coach who would fine-tune them to peak performance inside this organization. So even if you hire the most greatest developer or the most greatest marketer, you would need to work with them in order to get them performance for you and your organization. Now, again, when you're like coaching, remember that you're coaching, you're on the sideline and you're not actually playing for the person. So be on the sideline, help them recognize opportunities, help them recognize threats, and help them give a different vantage view of the situation, and let them score for you. Let them score, and it's a win for you as well, right? The next thing is to find yourself a mentor. Now, the mentor could be inside, he could be outside the organization, but essentially the mentor is the one who recognizes your true potential and who helps you in like aligning your career towards that potential. Lots of times, your interaction with your mentors might not be very prolonged. It might be very short, but it would be very poignant. For example, in my life, I think one of the greatest shifts that happened was when it was a 15-minute meeting with Suresh, where Suresh essentially asked me this one question. He asked me, you're doing marketing, but do you think your actual calling is in marketing, or is it actually in product? And that is the reason why my career changed tracks, and that is the reason why I am where I am today. Now, that's the kind of mentors you'd get in life. They would ask you a hard question, and you'd need to digest it, and you'd need to figure out if it makes sense, and when it makes sense, you need to start working on it. When you're working on it, the mentor helps you in giving further directions towards getting your objective. When you're making a win, the mentor is happy for you. The coach, the win is as much the coach's as much as it is yours. And finally, remember that your sponsor is always watching you. Most of the times, you would not even know who your sponsor is inside the organization. but they are watching you. They are probably watching you because their reports and are your managers. They are probably watching you because, like for example, in the G2G, when you said something very important, they essentially form opinions about you. They realize that you could do greater things, and based on that, they open opportunities for you. So assume that at every point of time, you are being watched by your sponsors. Understand that most of the times, sometimes you might feel left out and think that you do not have a sponsor at all, but that is not true. You have a sponsor at all times, and he is looking at you, he or she is looking at you, and it's just that be yourself and work towards your potential, and your sponsor will automatically recognize and figure out opportunities for you. This essentially is what I've been believing in, and I've been trying to institutionalize in my teams, and I've been experimenting with. So again, in a nutshell, you have three people. You have the coach, you have the mentor, you have the sponsor. Try to recognize who these roles are for you, and try to put them to the maximum use. And that will automatically ensure that you are growing along with the organization. Yes. So that's it. Thanks a lot, guys.